Arrivederci. Goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. That's 800-405-2561.
Welcome in to Picks and Parlays on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network and also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you want to tune in that way, we're really easy to find. If you just search Picks and Parlays, we're usually the first thing that pops up. I'm your host, Chelsa Messinger. You can find me on Twitter every day. My handle is just my name, @Chelsa Messinger. If you want to drop me a comment, a line, or a meme. I do apologize for not making it in yesterday. I was a little under the weather, thought I was giving birth, and you know what? I'm really glad that I didn't, because yesterday will forever be known as the day that Myles Garrett turned Thursday Night Football into a street fight. What a game. With about 8 seconds left in the game, if you were hiding under a rock last night and you haven't heard, the Browns were up 21-7. And Myles Garrett took off Mason Rudolph's helmet and hit him in the head with it. It was unprecedented. It was crazy. It was out of line, and it certainly wasn't something that we've ever seen when it comes to football. Some news that came out today, Myles Garrett, the Browns' defensive tackle, is suspended indefinitely. That means he won't play at all this season, including the postseason, a big loss for the pass rush for the Browns. But more importantly, I mean, the NFL had to take a stand here. He could have killed a guy. I'm not even being dramatic. You could have used that as a weapon. That helmet really could have hurt somebody. Browns defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi has been suspended 1 game, and Steelers center Marquise Pouncey has been suspended 3 games, and the Steelers and the Browns have each been fined $250,000 for that incident. Getting on with today's show, we've got college football. Minnesota, Iowa, Oklahoma, Baylor, Arizona and Oregon, USC, Cal, and then we've got some NFL picks with Tony T and a little sprinkle of NBA action, and then finally our NFL Rapid Fire segment. 7 games, 7 picks, 7 ways to make you some money. It's all coming up on Picks and Parlays on this Friday afternoon. Stick with us. After the break, we're starting off with college football.
If you want to pee easier, listen to this. A new Nobel Prize discovery was just proven in a clinical trial to help men pee 241% more, ending multiple trips to the bathroom and the constant urge to go. This breakthrough is finally available in a pill called Prostavive LS, developed by famed men's health expert Dr. Al Sears, and for a limited time, you can get a free bottle. Call 800-769-8155. Patients who've taken Prostavive LS are singing its praises.
Hi, my name is Paul, and I'm 73 years old. I used to get up multiple times a night to go to the bathroom, but after taking Prostavive LS, I now sleep through the night.
Prostavive LS does not require a prescription, and there are no side effects. But this free bottle is not available in stores. Call 800-769-8155 to get your free bottle of this Nobel Prize-winning discovery proven in clinical trials to help men pee 241% more. That's 800-769-8155.
Why wait for Black Friday? Get Black Friday prices today at the Home Depot. Pick up a Dyson V8 Animal Cordless Vacuum at a special buy, just $299. Was $399. Cord-free, hassle-free, powerful suction to pick up pet hair across all floor types. You can pick one up for $100 off. Black Friday savings. Early. Now at the Home Depot. More saving. More doing. U.S. only while supplies last. See store for details. Valid through November 16th.
Get to Kohl's and take an extra 15% off. Save on Cuddle Bed sheets starting at $25.49, an air fryer $84.99, and a Bella single-serve coffee maker just $33.99. Plus, take an extra $10 off your $50 home sale purchase. Plus, get Kohl's Cash this weekend at Kohl's.
Select styles. Offers valid November 7th through 17th. 15% off with promo code SHOP15. Home offer with promo code ENTERTAIN10. Some exclusions apply. See store or kohls.com for details.
Want to fly somewhere? Looking for cheap flights or cheap tickets? Then call. That's right. Call the low-cost airline travel hotline now for prices so low we can't publish them anywhere. Low-cost airlines has all kinds of cheap travel deals. Fly domestically and save up to 75%. You can even fly internationally and save even more. Yes, fly anywhere in the world and save a lot of money on your plane tickets. We'll even save you money with cheap travel deals on hotels, rental cars, even complete travel packages. So don't book your tickets until you call us first for the absolute cheapest prices on U.S. and international airline tickets and hotels. Call right now for prices so low they can't be published. Travel experts are here 24/7 to help. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. That's 800-754-4531.
Welcome back to Picks and Parlays on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network and also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I'm your host, Chelsa Messinger, and let's get things going on this Friday afternoon with some college football. We've got Chip Chirimbes joining us for a little college football talk. Hello, Chip.
Hey, Chelsea, how you feeling, darling?
Feeling all right.
All right,
as good as you can be at 39 weeks pregnant. But let's dive into some of these college games. We've got a good slate on tap this weekend, starting with Minnesota and Iowa. Minnesota, of course, coming off that big, huge, monumental win over Penn State. But Iowa's favored in this one, probably, I guess, because they're at home. The Hawkeyes are 6-3, 4-5 against the number. Minnesota, of course, 9-0, 6-2-1 against the spread, and the total is 44.5. Initial thoughts on this matchup?
Well, you know, Chelsea, you made the point that Iowa is favored, and most likely because they're at home. You know, this is an unranked team favored over a ranked team, which is very unusual. Not only that, an undefeated ranked team that has just come off one of their biggest wins ever, and that may be the key or the clue as to why they're an underdog here. Beating Penn State is the first time they've beaten a ranked team in 15 tries. That goes over a number of years. But Minnesota has such a well-balanced attack. You might have seen that. They've run for almost 200 yards a game, and they're passing for about 240, which is a great balance, particularly on the college level. They've won their last 6 against the points. They're 6-0 against the number. And oddly enough, in all 9 games, or all 8 games previous to this one against Penn State, they had outgained their opponent. And believe it or not, on Saturday, Penn State outgained the Golden Gophers. And I think that Iowa has the edge here psychologically because, I mean, the Golden Gophers, Minnesota has to be so full of themselves and so proud of finally beating a ranked team and beating a team like Penn State the way they did, convincingly. They manhandled that Penn State team the whole game. I think it's very difficult, Chelsea, for them to get ready emotionally to get back to the same spot. You know, Iowa has an incredible record against Minnesota. If Minnesota's come in to Iowa with a winning record, Iowa has won 15 of 17 times against the points. So Iowa seems to get ready for this Minnesota team. And Iowa, we do know, has been a better team for years in the Big Ten. We want some personal head-to-head information. 6-1-1 the last 8 between these two teams have gone under. 4-1 the last 5 meetings in Iowa have gone under. That doesn't bother me. Maybe the under is the play here. I can give that easily. But I think Iowa is the side, Chelsea, being favored over this Minnesota. I think psychologically, Minnesota has a very tough road to get themselves ready for this game.
Right. I think the key for Iowa is stopping Tanner Morgan, the quarterback for Minnesota. He proved to be a threat with his legs, and it seemed like in that Penn State game, if you had the over, that was a nice day for you because nobody could stop anybody.
It certainly is. These offenses on the college level now are so diverse and they're so sophisticated. It's improved dramatically over the last 20 years, I would say. The passing game, these kids are coming out of high school and they are ready. Now, Iowa has a 4-year quarterback here in Stanley, and he may be able to get the job done against the Golden Gophers.
Right, and that's not to knock on Iowa's defense because they've been really good. They're allowing just 12 points per game, and they've played a lot of these tough teams really closely. One possession losses to Wisconsin, Michigan, and Penn State. So, I mean, they play tough competition pretty closely. But, I mean, I think the key is the fact that they're favored. That says something to me. That says that Vegas knows something here.
Exactly.
And it just looks a little fishy.
Exactly. That's exactly what I said. An unranked team favored over a ranked team that is 9-0. And this unranked team, by the way, is only 4-5 against the number, though they're 6-3 straight up. I think the odds maker in Las Vegas really thinks that the Golden Gophers are going to lay an egg here.
Well, and Minnesota has not won at Iowa since 1999.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's in their minds at all, even though we saw with LSU that those streaks can definitely come to an end with LSU beating Alabama. Let's move on to a big matchup in the Big 12, Oklahoma-Baylor. Baylor is undefeated, but yet they're getting 10.5 points at home to Oklahoma. Explain that to me.
All right, how about that? You got a 9-0 Baylor team, which, of course, is leading the Big 12. They're 5-4 against the points. It's inexplicable, other than the fact that Oklahoma, who had a 21-point lead in the fourth period last week against Iowa State, let the Cyclones get back in the game, end up winning the game by 1 point. But they were looking ahead to this encounter here. This line has gone up steadily because the Sharps and the Wise guys are taking Oklahoma, and I think it's because of the previous records against this team. Against the Baylor Bears, the last 4 meetings, Oklahoma has put up 511, 553, 625, and 606 total yards. That Oklahoma offense is tremendous. Their defense, many have called a sieve, but I don't think Baylor or anyone else is going to be able to contain this Oklahoma offense, particularly they have a loss under their belt right now. That was a very big upset when they got beat, and I think that they're really chomping at the bit here. And the fact that Baylor is at home, Baylor is 9-0, giving them double digits tells me that there is really something askew with this game. I think that Baylor is in big trouble here. And, you know, if you look at the stats, and we do this all the time, we go through trends. Matt Rue, the head coach of Baylor, opened 1-11 the first season with them. Since then, he's gone 13-3 as an underdog plus three or more points. And I just don't see them giving Baylor much of a shot here. I think that Oklahoma really is going to run roughshod over them.
The total 67.5. Is that worth a look?
Yes, it certainly is. I could very easily give you the over on here. Baylor comes through an improbable win last week. It goes triple overtime against TCU, kicks a 51-yard field goal on the final play of the game. TCU had a first and goal at the 1 to win the game and didn't score. Very improbable that Baylor won that game, and I think their luck may have run out. I think that Oklahoma here is going to show the manpower, and as a matter of fact, they are the power play of the day.
All right, let's move on to some out west games. Arizona, Oregon. Oregon favored big in this one, minus 27.5. Total is 68.5. Thoughts on this one?
Well, my first thoughts are I can't get over Oregon losing their opening game on the final play on a 28-yard desperation pass by Bo Nix. Auburn comes up with the win. If it wasn't for that single play, Oregon right now, who's ranked 5th and 6th in the polls, might be among the top 4, among the finalists. They would be 9-0. They're averaging 38.5 points per game, and they really do put up great offensive numbers. As Herbert is going to be a first-round draft pick, the quarterback for the Ducks. Arizona has lost 4 straight. They're 2-6-1 against the number. This Sumlin really doesn't have a clue what he's going to do with the Wildcats, who he's starting at quarterback and who he's not. But Arizona has got that wide-open West Coast offense. There's like Sumlin had when he was at Texas A&M. They're scoring 33 points a game. But like when he was at A&M, he doesn't stop anybody defensively. They're giving up 37 points a game. And I think, other than the fact that I might want to take a shot with Arizona on this game because of the healthy points, 27.5 or 28. Chelsea, this game should go over the total. Oregon doesn't tackle too many people either. But their offense is so prolific. I can see this team putting up 38-45 against Arizona. Arizona putting up 28-30 themselves. And I look for this team to go over the total. This game to go over the total easily.
All right, staying out west with USC and Cal. USC favored in this one, -6.5. Total is 48. And if you remember, Cal did beat USC last season, 15-14. So what are we seeing in this one quickly?
They did, and the Trojans may have a little revenge on their mind. They had won 15 straight in the series until Cal's win last year. Cal's offense has been horrible, averaging just about 300 yards a game. That was because their quarterback, Chase Garbers, has been out. He returns here. And Cal has shown some life of late. They've really 5-4, very surprising for an offense that only has 300 yards. They have a great defensive team. Southern Cal clinched a bowl berth last week. They won their 6th game. I don't know if their intensity level is going to be what it needs to be in order to come with a point spread win here. I would take the Golden Bears, though I'm leery. Chelsea, they have their biggest game of the year next week. They are playing Stanford, and that is always a big one for them. That is their traditional rival. The under has gone 13-3 in the last 16 between these two. So if you're a little skittish about taking Cal, which I can understand, maybe the way to go is to play this game under.
All right, that is our college football talk for the day. Thank you, Chip. We're back after the break with NFL picks. Stick with us on Picks and Parlays. Welcome back. to Picks and Parlays on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network and also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I'm your host, Chelsa Messinger. You can find me on Twitter at Chelsa Messinger. It's my name, it's my handle, it's where you can send me any of your comments or concerns. Right now, we've got Tony T joining us to talk a little basketball up first. Hello, Tony. How are you?
I'm doing great, Chelsea. Looking forward to this NBA season. We're almost into a month of it already, and of course, you got to worry about some of the injuries out there for some of these teams, and of course, some of these young rookies out there. Some of them make an impact, like Jay Morant from Memphis, and of course, we're talking about the Clippers with Paul George returning back to the lineup for LA. So we're gonna finally get to see the George and Kawhi Leonard duo together. Of course, Leonard took some load management a day off, so they didn't play in that game against New Orleans, but looking forward to what we got on tap here in the NBA for Saturday.
Right, that's definitely been the story for the Clippers. Paul George making his return to the lineup with 33 points despite a loss to the Pelicans, but also load management. What an odd story that's been. I know a lot of people are up in arms over Kawhi Leonard not playing every game, especially this early in the season. He's not that old. So first of all, in this Hawks-Clippers game that we're talking about, the Clippers are favored 13.5. The total is 230. First of all, do we expect Kawhi Leonard to play, or do we know?
It looks like will play. It was pretty much load management reasons for him missing the game, and of course, there's a lot of theories out there, and part of it, the reason I think is these players now play in these AAU tournaments. They play a lot of basketball in their youth, and I think that's what's contributing to a lot of the injuries here for these players in their 20s, and could cut short their career in the NBA. But I think that's one of the reasons there for the load management issue. It's too much basketball at early, they're in their youth. But looking at this game, Chelsea, you did say it's a big line. But one thing with LA at home, they've been holding teams at 101 points a game, and defensively over their past 5 games, they're allowing just 41% of shooting. But they've been in a slingshot up themselves, shooting just 43% and 31% from beyond the arc. Now, looking here at the Atlanta side, they don't shoot the three very well on the road. But the thing with the Hawks, they did lose an impact player in John Collins with a suspension. He was a 17-point game per night, 8 rebounds, and they don't really have a lot of depth around him. So John Collins, Chelsea, an impact player, not in the lineup for the Hawks.
Right, but they do have Trae Young, who's been a one-man band wrecking crew. He's been the king of the nutmeg, passing to himself by dribbling the ball through defenders' legs, and he's averaging 27 points per game. Do we think the Clippers can stop him at least enough to get a win or cover this number?
The thing is, I'm going to stay. I don't know if the total, or I should say the point spread, I'm going to stay away from that 13.5. I think it's just a little too much. I think the under is the better play here because, Trae Young does pretty much everything. But when you look at the supporting cast, the problem with the Hawks is their supporting cast, they're not average shooters. And that's where the issue is. So I think Trae Young will get his. He could probably have 35, 34 points in this game. But still, I don't think the Hawks are going to be able to score against the Clippers defense. Now with Paul George, you got to look at them differently now in the paint. And with Paul George in that lineup, the paint will not be open for Trae Young. He's going to have to do his work outside the paint. And again, just not enough on the help from Sporting Cast here to try to get points from the Atlanta side. And of course, when you look at the trend here, the Clippers have gone under in 6 of their 7 at home. I think that continues here.
All right, let's move on to some NFL action, starting with Monday Night Football's matchup in Mexico City. The Chiefs and the Chargers. The Chiefs are favored in this one, -3.5. Total is 52. Elevation will definitely be a factor in this one. Mexico City, I'm not sure what the exact elevation is, but it's definitely pretty high up. The Chargers are practicing in Colorado Springs. And you know what? The Chiefs, they're coming off a loss to the Titans. That's right. My Titans beat them in a wild one, 35-32. But what scares me is Patrick Mahomes. Didn't look like he missed a beat. He still had 446 yards of offense, 3 touchdowns. So who do we like in this one, or what's the play?
Yeah, on this game here, I'm going to kind of stay away from the point spread here because I have a hard time with playing the Chargers. And of course, with KC, you always have to worry about that backdoor touchdown because their defense is not very good. I will say that the elevation in Mexico City is 7,200 feet. That is 2,000 feet higher than Denver's stadium. So elevation will play a key. That's why I'm looking at the over in this one, Chelsea, because I think in the second half, you could have some tired players, especially at the pace of play that the Kansas City Chiefs play. They play really fast. And I think the offenses for both offenses will try and do that. They'll try to increase the pace of play to try to wear out these defenses because they know they're playing at 7,200 feet. You got an offense here in Patrick Mahomes who's healthy. He says he feels great, and of course they're definitely moving the football. And of course you're looking at their defense that struggled. They're giving up over 5 yards a carry on the ground, 369 yards overall. So I think Philip Rivers will be able to find some open receivers there. And I think we're going to see this game really open up in the second half with a lot of tired defenders for both sides playing this high elevation. But of course, both offensive coordinators knowing, hey, let's tire out these defenses. Let's play at a fast tempo. And I think we're looking at an over in this game.
And maybe Philip Rivers can get a little extra zip on his passes in that high altitude, because that's been a real issue for the Chargers, is which Philip Rivers that we're going to get, because as we saw in that game against the Raiders, his interceptions, man, I think he had 3, but there could have been 5. 2 of them got called back for penalties, but it can be a real game changer.
Yeah, and we always said this about Philip Rivers. When he doesn't have a run game, be careful with him. That's one reason why I don't even want to take the Chargers, because you always got to worry about him put points on the board for the other team. Unfortunately, that's what the over's there for, right? When you got a quarterback that throws picks.
Exactly.
So, and that's the problem with the Chargers is they don't have the run. When Philip Rivers tries to do too much, he makes mistakes. I've seen his entire career. That's been the thing here. You just look at the yards per carry for the running game, and you can tell what kind of season it's going to be for Rivers. It's going to be a lot of picks, and that's what we're seeing here with the Chargers.
Right, and one thing I will say about that Chiefs game against the Titans, it was a crazy game. We saw some plays that I had never seen before, including Colquitt, the holder, got flagged for intentional grounding. And we saw their offensive linemen going down like flies. At one point, I thought Andy Reid was going to have to play offensive line for them. So, I mean, I'm glad the Titans won, but it was a wild game. And I wouldn't put a whole lot of stock in it, especially since Mahomes, it was his first game back. And he didn't seem to skip a beat. I thought maybe his timing might be off, because that's the only thing that really concerns me. I noticed that with Tua in that Alabama game. It looked like his timing was off since he had missed a lot of games. But, yeah, I would like to take the Chiefs in this one, but I don't know. I'm torn.
Yeah, if it's over a field goal, it's tough because their defense. So we talked about this in week 1 against Jacksonville when we saw the coaches tape on that game, and we noticed the difference in their intensity when they're up. When the Chiefs defense is up, they play really lax defensively. And here's the situation here. And one thing to note too with these onside kick rules now. It's harder to recover the onside kick. So I think what you're seeing now is these defenses being more laxed in prevent, and that's what's happening. You're not seeing these onside kicks recovered. So these teams with 2-score leads, okay, we'll give one up, but we have a good chance of recovering the onside, and we'll knee it and win the game.
Right, and also the Chargers did beat the Packers, so I mean they're capable of upsets. So it's just tough. The NFL, as I've said many times before, the parity is not like college football. Any team can really win just about any week, excluding maybe a couple of teams. Speaking of those teams, the Jets and the Redskins. The Jets. The Redskins are favoring this one -2.5, and the total is 38.5, which certainly looks low, but both of these teams rank, I think, in the bottom 5 in all of offensive categories. So it's not going to be, the best football you've probably ever watched. What's the lean on this one?
Yeah, I'm going to lean here for the Jets +2.5. And, Redskins are going to start rookie Dwayne Haskins for the remainder of the seasons. They're a 1-8 team, 0-4 at home, nothing really to lose. So this is what they're going to do. You look at their numbers the past 3 games, just 204 yards of offense, 6 points a game. And if you notice, Chelsea, their games are finishing like a half an hour before the top of the hour because they're running the ball like crazy. And they're 31st in the league on 3rd down, 29th in the red zone. I think you're just going to see a run game here by the Redskins, and we'll put them in down and distance. And one thing I'll note here with the Jets defensive coordinator, Greg Williams, I'm telling you, he will bring a blitz package on this rookie like you won't believe. I mean, Greg Williams, he even blitzed in the preseason. So, again, if the Redskins are in down and distance situation, it's going to be tough for Haskins because they'll be coming after him.
So what's the play you like in this one?
I like the Jets here plus the 2.5. Yeah, and I wouldn't argue if anyone took the under in this game because the game plan here for the Redskins since the coaching change has been run the ball. And I said the game instead of finishing at the top of the hour, they're finishing at the bottom of the hour. It's incredible how fast their games are over because all they're doing is running the football.
Right, and the Redskins have played to the under 6 times in a row. Because I knew that Redskins San Francisco game, that was kind of an outlier because it was raining so hard. That was a slop fest, but 6 straight unders. I mean, I guess Vegas has got to be adjusting for those odds. 38.5 is pretty low, but as we've seen, even when it looks low, you can still take an under and win.
Yeah, I mean, the Redskins have been held at 9 points or fewer in 5 of their past 6 games. And, of course, I like the Jets because Darnold might find things a little easier against this Redskins defense.
All right. Thanks, as always, for joining us, Tony T, for his picks on NBA and NFL. We're back after the break with Rapid Fire. More NFL after the break on Picks and Parlays.
'Tis the season to sparkle and to do it right. Start with Lowe's, because Lowe's has everything you need to decorate your home indoors and out. And it's savings too. Stop in today and get in on early Black Friday deals like 10% off select GE pre-lit artificial Christmas trees. And get a holiday living 100 count clear or multicolored mini light set for just $2.99. Whatever you need to deck your halls and more. This holiday season, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 11/20, U.S. only.
The great thing about facts, they're proven. Like the fact that crude oil contains impurities. Or that base oil made from natural gas is 99.5% free of impurities. And the fact that Pennzoil is the first synthetic motor oil made from natural gas, not crude oil. It gives you unbeatable engine protection. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Based on Sequence 4A wear test using SAE 5W30.
At 28, I had struggled with opiate and meth addiction for 12 years. I did and said things that the sober me never would have done. One day I realized I was not invincible. I was not exempt. And that's when a friend told me about elite rehab placement. They gave me the tools I needed to get sober, and all it took was the one phone call.
Elite Rehab can help you start to break your addiction problem and get sober in as little as 7 days. And we'll work with your insurance provider to help cover the costs. Plus, we have travel assistance programs to get you here by plane or train. Make this free call right now to learn more. 800-403-5912. 800-403-5912. 800-403-5912. That's 800-403-5912.
Hey, travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip, or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
Welcome back to Picks and Parlays on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, and also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you want to see the faces behind the voices, you can definitely find us there. If you search Picks and Parlays on any of your favorite social media platforms, we're really easy to find. I'm your host, Chelsa Messinger, on this fine Friday afternoon. And next up, NFL Rapid Fire. We've got 7 games, 7 picks, and 7 ways to hopefully make you guys some money. We've got Craig Trapp joining us. We've got Tony T joining us. Guys, we've got a lot of games to get to, so let's jump right in. Let's start with the Cowboys and the Lions. The Cowboys are favored -7 in this one. Total is 50.5. The Cowboys coming off that loss to Minnesota, 28-24, and the Lions coming off a loss to the Bears. The big news in this one, Matt Stafford will not play in this one, so we will see another week of Jeff Driscoll at quarterback for the Lions. Craig, we'll start with you. Who do you like, or what's the play?
Tough to love either one of these teams. Obviously, usually when you get more than a touchdown or more at home, I always look into the home underdog, but when you're playing a backup quarterback on a team that has just been inconsistent on offense already, and then they weren't great last week, I just think you have to play the Cowboys here. The Cowboys season kind of hanging in the balance here. They really can't afford to lose this one. So I think the Cowboys -7 is the play. Of course, big follow-up. Both of these teams will be playing on Thursday night after this week.
The Lions are also 0-4 against the spread in their last 4. Tony T, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with Craig here. I'm going to go ahead and lay the points here with Dallas Cowboys. The -7. I think you're going to see an overreaction. Remember those plays at the end of that Minnesota Viking game? They ran the ball, and of course they took a lot of heat for those running plays late in the game against Minnesota. I think you're going to see the Cowboys really air it out here. Remember, the Lions are a really bad defense, and I think they can exploit the secondary here for the Detroit Lions. They're giving up 402 yards, 272 yards in the passing game. And of course, Amari Cooper's telling everybody that he's healthy, and the Cowboys' completion rate right now for Dak Prescott, 61%. They're throwing for 300 yards. I think you're going to see the Cowboys throw the ball a lot in this game, and they're a really good third down team, and they're very good defensively on third down and in the red zone, and that's something the Lions are not good at. So I'm going to go ahead and lay the points here with Dallas.
Next up, we've got the Jags and the Colts. The Colts are favored in this one, -2.5. Total is 43.5. Quarterback Jacoby Brissett is expected to play for the Colts, which is good news because Brian Hoyer, the backup, had 3 interceptions in the Colts. Lost to the Dolphins. That's right, the Dolphins. Meanwhile, the Jags have Nick Foles back starting, which means Minshew Mania is over, at least for now. But Nick Foles, obviously, a good quarterback that they're paying a lot of money for. Craig, who do we like in this one, or what's the play?
Yeah, I think you have to go with the Jags here. I just don't think it doesn't sound like Brissett's going to be anywhere near 100%. And, one of his greatest assets is his ability to scramble, extend plays. And, this Colts team, just not look good since he went down. Remember, they let that one get away in Pittsburgh, even though Brian Hoyer actually played halfway decent other than the pick 6 in that game, but was not good last week. I think you have to, until Brissett proves he's back 100%, you have to take the Jaguars in this one as a slight underdog. We'll take the 2.5 points here, but I think they win outright.
Tony T, agree or disagree?
I got to agree here with Craig here. I like the Jaguars plus the points. Jacoby Brissett off that sprained MCL or quick return. He may be as mobile, but more importantly is an injury for the Colts. T.Y. Hilton. He's a big play threat for the Colts offense. He's not healthy. We won't see him until December with that calf injury, and of course that really impacts the ability for the Colts to make plays downfield. Of course, Jacksonville coming off their bye week, but not only Nick Foles coming back, D.D. Westbrook is coming back, and a lot of the Jaguars are getting healthy now as they return to practice. And they are a really good defense, holding teams to 19 points a game. Of course, the Colts have failed to cover 3 straight, 6 turnovers in their past 2 games. I'm going to take the Jaguars here plus the points.
Next up, we've got the Broncos and the Vikings. The Vikings are favored at -10 this one. The total is 40, very low. But the Broncos, they have a good defense, especially as of late. In their last 5 games, they're allowing just 14 points per game. Meanwhile, the Vikings have a very strong rush attack led by Dalvin Cook, coming off 183 yards in the last game against the Cowboys. So I know Mike Zimmer wants to continue to run the ball. Can they do it against the Broncos in this one? Craig, what do you think?
Well, I think this one screams under because, like you said, the Broncos defense is very good. The Vikings, when you run the ball, there's less plays. The clock moves. I just think the Minnesota Vikings, Dalvin Cook, if you look at his numbers, actually, they're right on pace with Adrian Peterson's MVP season. That's how good a season Cook's having. Of course, hard for a running back to probably win it in the day and age we are now. But I like the under. I just think it screams a much lower scoring game and thus the total, one of the lowest totals of the week. So let's take the under here and what should be an ugly game as the Broncos offense continues to stink up the joint.
And we will see more of Brandon Allen at quarterback, which, Joe Flacco wasn't doing a whole lot for that offense. As Tony T likes to call him, the statue. He's not very mobile in the pocket, so I guess Brandon Allen might be better in that aspect. But he's still a young guy. Tony T, what do you think on this one?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and lay the points with Minnesota. They win by double digits at home. You go look at their scores. And you're right, Brandon Allen making his first ever road start, and this is the toughest place in football right now to play, is playing at Minnesota. And I do agree that Broncos are a good defense, but here's what the problem is: the time of possession. And I think the Broncos are not going to be able to get first downs in this game, and the Broncos will be on the field a lot, and that's going to lead to the Vikings cover in the second half. And of course, we know the Vikings here at home, the defense holding opponents to 13 points a game, and they do move the football at home. A good rushing attack is balanced because they're completing 79% of their passes at home, and they do well in the red zone. I'm going to go ahead and lay the points with the Vikings.
All right, next up we've got a good one. The Texans and the Ravens. The Ravens are favored in this one, -4. Total is 51.5, and this is the clash of two very dynamic quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson. It should be fun to watch, but when it comes to betting, who are we taking? Craig?
Well, it's hard to bet against Lamar Jackson right now. This Ravens running attack, very, very difficult. Not just Lamar Jackson. They can really mess you up. If you play his running, then all of a sudden they're out the other side. And I just think the Ravens are the better team here at home. Last week was the big letdown spot, I think, for them, and they didn't have a letdown. They rolled over a bad Cincinnati team, of course. The week before that, beat the Patriots. I think the Ravens don't have a letdown here, and I think they win easily. I love them -4 here in this one.
I will say it's definitely hard to prepare for Lamar Jackson, but if anybody can simulate what he does, it's Deshaun Watson. So that Texans defense has a first glance, in practice at how dynamic somebody can be, maybe how to stop him. What do you think, Tony T? Do you think the Texans can contain this Ravens team?
Well, Chelsea, this is my top play from the NFL on Sunday. Find it right now at picksandparlays.net.
All right, moving on to the Cardinals and the 49ers. 49ers favored -10 in this one. The total is 45. And yes, we have seen these two teams meet before. And if you remember, it was actually a close game, 28-25. The 49ers won that one. They didn't cover, but that was at home for the Cardinals, at least. They were a 10-point dog in that one as well, and they covered. So what do we think on this one? Do the Cardinals cover again, even if they lose, or do we like the 49ers to bounce back after their first loss of the season to Seattle? Craig, who you got?
Well, this is like you said, a revenge game for the Cardinals. They lost on Thursday night a few weeks back, but this is actually my NFL play of the week this week. The interesting part of this game for me is going to be how the 49ers, can they throw the ball? Because their running attack is some of the best in the league, but they've been very inconsistent throwing the ball. Can they continue to improve in that? Because if you're going to win come playoff time, this team is going to have to learn that they have to be more balanced. But this is my NFL play of the week. Get it at picksandparlays.net.
I know the Cardinals haven't been winning that many games. They're only 3-6-1, but they're 7-3 against the spread, which is actually one of the best teams in the NFL when it comes to against the number. Tony T, who do you like, or what's the play in this one?
I'm going to continue again to write these Cardinals at +10.5, like we talked about last week's show. The Cardinals offensively, a very good second half team. They're doing the coaching staff, they're doing their adjustments, and they're really competitive. Maybe they had that lead against Tampa Bay. Of course, the defense let the touchdown in, but still, I got to play them. They did show the ability to move the football in this 49ers defense, and they've covered 4 of their past 5, but it's a tough spot for San Francisco. Short week, but it's the opponent that makes it tough because they played Seattle. That was a really physical, hard-hitting game, and they paid for it. They're banged up. Even Breida, it's a laundry list of starters who did not practice today. And I think we're going to look at a situation here. We talked about the 49ers' ability here to throw the football. They're in the lower third in the league in the red zone. Maybe, they kick field goals. Cardinals generate enough offense here. And again, the second half for the Cardinals, they cover for us in the second half. We're going to go ahead and play them here in this one plus the points.
Moving on to the Patriots and the Eagles, a rematch of Super Bowl 52. Granted, these are two very different teams. The Patriots have been reliant on a very strong defense. However, against the Ravens, we saw that they have some holes, especially against the rush. Can the Eagles run all over the Patriots? The Patriots are favored -3.5 in this one on the road, and the total is 45. Craig, what do you think?
Like the Patriots in a bounce back spot here. I just think the Patriots seems like when you show a weakness like we saw against the Ravens, that they usually fix that. And I think they'll fix that this week. I think the Patriots -3.5, very easy play here against an Eagles team that's just been so up and down, has all the talent in the world, but just haven't been able to put it together. Let's take the Patriots -3.5.
Tony T, agree or disagree, or do you like a different play?
Yeah, I'm with Craig here. I like the Patriots -3.5. They're coming off the bye week. The Patriots off a loss, a really good bet. They are coming off the bye week. And one thing to note here with the Patriots, they don't have to deal with the Lamar Jackson factor here. They're facing a drop-back quarterback, Carson Wentz. The defense has played very well this year. They just had that bad game against Lamar. And, of course, we've seen the Eagles here pounded at Dallas and at Minnesota. Those are good offenses. Eagles defense, they've been shredded by the Packers, Vikings, and Cowboys. They're 25th defensively in the red zone. Patriots defense first on third down, fourth in the red zone. I'm going to go ahead and take the Patriots laying the 3.5.
All right, and wrapping things up with the Bears and the Rams on Sunday Night Football. The Rams are favored -6 in this one. The total is very low at 40, but the Rams offense has not been the offense that we have expected this season. Meanwhile, the Bears, they're coming off a win, 20-13, but it was against the Lions. They've hit the under in their past 3. Craig, thoughts on this one?
You nailed it there, Chelsea. The under has been the key in these Bears games because guess what? The Bears' offense is terrible. They can't throw the ball. Everybody knows it. You stack the line, make them throw the ball. That's how you beat the Bears. If they didn't play the Lions without Matt Stafford, they'd probably lose last week. So I like the under 40 here. I think it's an easy winner as the Bears can continue to struggle on offense.
The Rams have also hit the under in their last 4. Tony T, where are you leaning?
Yeah, I can't argue with that under play, but I'm going to actually take the points here with the Bears at +6.5. Goff does not handle pressure very well. The Bears did handle the Rams well last year in that performance. The Rams offense just lackluster. Losing 17-12 at Pittsburgh behind their backup quarterback in Rudolph there. I'm going to go ahead and take the points here with the Chicago Bears.
All right, that is our NFL Rapid Fire segment. Thank you both for joining us. We're back after the break on Picks and Parlays, recapping all of today's picks. Stick with us on Picks and Parlays.
Imagine this is your money and someone wants to take it from you. Who is it? The IRS. They want your money, and guess what? They can legally take it, all of it if they want. Remember, they sent you that letter that said, hey, you owe us a bunch of cash and we're going to take it from you. So what do? Fight back by letting our team of experts at the tax helpline work it out with the IRS so you can keep your money. And we're good at what we do. When you hire us, you get a team of guys on your side that know the IRS laws and will fight to save your money. So, if you owe the IRS a ton of cash and you want to keep it, call right now and learn for free how we can help you put it back in your pocket.
800-932-1749. 800-932-1749. 800-932-1749. That's 800-932-1749.
Are you an active stock market investor? Well, then you know these three key words: buy, sell, hold. Those three magic words can make or lose you money in the stock market. What if we can show you a time-tested tool that's been helping stock market investors succeed for over 30 years? It's called VectorVest, an amazing system designed to make smart investing easy. The VectorVest system analyzes, sorts, and ranks over 19,000 stocks every day and tells you when to buy, what to buy, and when to sell any stock to maximize your profits in less than 10 minutes a day. And if you call right now, you can test drive our amazing VectorVest system risk-free for 30 days for just $9.95.
800-584-2519. 800-584-2519. 800-584-2519. That's 800-584-2519.
Attention business owners. Are you struggling while waiting for your customers to pay on their net 30, 60, or 90-day invoices? Can't get a business loan? Have no equity? Bad credit? Or maybe no credit at all? Then you need to call AmeriFactors right now. AmeriFactors will give you cash for your invoices and there's nothing to pay back. We simply buy your account receivables, and if those clients don't pay on the invoices, we take the loss. We give you funds based on your account receivables, not your credit, and 98% of all applicants are approved. It's that simple. With AmeriFactors, there's no more waiting for your customers to pay. We give you the funds up front, then we wait for your customers to pay us. Fund your business today. Call AmeriFactors right now.
800-847-1183. 800-847-1183. 800-847-1183. That's 800-847-1183.
Welcome back to Picks and Parlays on this Friday afternoon. I am your host, Chelsa Messinger, and we had a jam-packed show today full of football and a little dash of NBA. If you haven't been paying attention or if you're just now tuning in, no worries. We've got you covered. We're about to recap all of today's picks, starting with college football. And Chip Chirimbes, his picks that he gave us, Minnesota and Iowa taking the under 45.5. Oklahoma Baylor in that Big 12 matchup taking Oklahoma minus 10.5. Arizona Oregon taking Arizona plus 28. USC Cal taking the Golden Bears at plus 6.5. Moving on to some football and basketball picks. Chiefs and Chargers from Tony T. He says take the over 52. Jets at Redskins taking the Jets at plus 2.5. And then his NBA pick with an exclamation point. Exclamation point. Can't even say that. Hawks Clippers. He likes the under in that one. Under 230. Moving on to rapid fire picks from Craig Trapp. Bears Rams taking the under 40.5. Patriots Eagles taking the Patriots in that one minus 3.5. And then Tony T gave us these picks for NFL Rapid Fire. Jags Colts taking the Jags plus 3. Cardinals 49ers. He likes the Cardinals to cover again against the 49ers, this time at plus 10.5. Bears Rams taking the Bears plus 6.5. Those are our picks from today's show. It was a wild one, and I can't stop watching that Myles Garrett hit on Mason Rudolph. First of all, how is Mason Rudolph not concussed? He's had a tough week. A tough week and a tough year when it comes to bad luck hits like that. So we hope he's okay. We'll end the show like that. Thanks for joining us. We're back next week. Until then, you can visit picksandparlays.net for all of your betting needs. Bet, win, repeat. We're back next week on Picks and Parlays.